today I'd like to do a short video just explaining some of the changes that I've made to my rig from what I had before and the reasons why I've done that. As you'll see, my battery is now located behind the camera rather than on the side as it was before, and I've also attached the shoulder pad underneath, possibly in the way that it's meant to be used, and added another handle on the end of it as well. The reason why I've done this is a result of a festa that I covered some weeks ago now, and carrying around the camera on the tripod for half a day proved to be pretty uncomfortable after a while, especially because of the imbalance that I got with the battery on the side and general usability. And so I started looking at a different way of implementing the rig and came up with this, and that was further reinforced by the fact that I bought an Easyrig, which I'll describe shortly, and having that imbalance was very awkward using the Easyrig, and so this sort of configuration now evens off the center of gravity of the camera rig and makes it much easier to use. Now, as you can see, most of the rig looks very much like it used to be, except for the addition of the extension on the back and the handle. The reason I put the handle on the end of the rig, as you can see, is that it actually provides a much better handling of the camera when it's on the tripod head, and even more so when it's on the Easyrig. With the normal tripod handle, you have to sort of move your wrist around quite a lot, plus your fingers, if you want to get some smooth panning, and it doesn't always come out that good. But with this handle, as I'll show you, it's very easy to move around. Your wrist doesn't move at all virtually, and it just swings around on the handle. Get very smooth movements all around, and makes it very comfortable indeed. And for tilting, it's exactly the same thing. Very little movement in your wrist, and your hand and arm sort of stays pretty much in the same place, and you can do all sorts of movements with it like that, and it's pretty comfortable all round. Something that I haven't seen before, but maybe it is in use somewhere. But anyway, if you want to give it a shot, try it out, and I think you might find it quite nice to use if your rig is configured in this sort of fashion. Alright, so now what I'll do is I'll just give you a demonstration of the Easyrig that I've got and how it all comes together. Now, the Easyrig that I bought is a Chinese clone. Cost about $300 versus about $5,000 for a similar original Easyrig made in Sweden. I don't know where the cost differences come in, but this thing is pretty damn good. It's all alloy, except obviously for the vest, and a couple of knobs for tightening the rig. And once you get used to it and once you get it set up, it is absolutely brilliant. So whether it holds up over time, I have no idea, but much rather try it out with $300 rather than $5,000. And I'll show you how it works. It's good to practice putting it on, because you end up bonking your head a few times at the initial stages, and also it sometimes helps to have a second hand doing the adjustment at the back. But if you do it yourself, you'll actually learn how to put it on and off without causing any self-injury or self-harm. The vest itself needs to sit down right on your hips. I've seen a few places where people put it around your waist, and that's the wrong thing to do. It's got to be supported on your hips to take all the weight of the rig itself, and these straps up here are really there just to hold the vest in place. It shouldn't be very tight at all. There's no need for that. The rig itself works well. Now, the rig attaches normally to a little arm like this, or a hook, onto the handle on a rig, but because the center of gravity on mine is different, I had to make a slight modification to mine. I have to stop occasionally because there's trucks and cars going past our front yard. And this time it happened to be a tractor. So what I've done with my rig is I've attached a little sort of a grippy bit here. You can see it better on my blog. This is which is now this little component will attach to, as I'll show you. It's pretty straightforward. The rig comes off and it just sits like that. Perfectly balanced once you get it right. Easy to move up and down, and it gives you a lot of movement. The handle here at the back now, as you can see, is perfect for controlling it. It wasn't so good holding it underneath here with the shoulder pad, and I really needed something different to manage the control of the thing. This just gives you a perfect grip. I can still control the focus on the other side, And with this sort of rig setup, you can go around virtually all day and feel very comfortable. The weight's on the hips, not on the shoulders, and so it's easy to move around, walk around, and just generally be much more comfortable than carrying a tripod, which can get in the way of people and other things that happen to be about you. And you can also do a lot more with this than you can with a tripod. Tripod's just panning and tilting pretty much, whereas with this you can do exactly the same thing, but you can also do other sort of activities such as long sweeping movements and swiveling movements like that. You can tilt it pretty severely, and basically it lets you do a lot more and be more flexible. You can walk with it and still video, but it takes a hell of a lot of practice. It's a bit like using a glide cam. You're not going to get it in the first time, so it's best try to do stationary stuff. But what I've seen of people using this and moving about, you can actually get some pretty good video, more natural looking than say on a gimbal, which just smooths out absolutely all movement and kind of makes it sometimes look unnatural. So this is actually very, very good. So anybody who sort of does a lot of activities or videoing where you've got to move about a lot and you're using a tripod, give one of these rigs a consideration. It really is a life changer, quite frankly. Maybe for a young person carrying around a tripod and rig, not so bad, but even then you start getting aches and pains very, very quickly. So that's what I've got so far, and hopefully I'll soon be able to actually show you some real evidence of how this thing works once I get my computer back, which is under warranty repair. So it's one reason why I haven't been able to put out any videos for quite some time. So anyway, let us know how you think about this. Cheers.